The Trump administration has told hundreds of thousands of migrants from several countries that they are losing their legal status in the U.S.
How a 2025 U.S. law could shut out every Filipino immigrant, and the reason will stun you. Picture this. More than 4.2 million Filipino Americans call the U.S. home today, and over half of them were born in the Philippines. But they're not just part of the scenery. They're the economic heartbeats connecting two nations. In 2024 alone, Filipinos working overseas wired a record $38.34 billion back home, enough to power 8.3% of the Philippine economy, funding everything from school fees to doctor visits. But now everything's at risk. Fast forward to 2025, and a wave of new U.S. policy ideas could slam the door on the very lifelines Filipino families have relied on for decades. What exactly is on the chopping block? In April, Senator Jim Banks unveiled the Nuclear Family Priority Act, S-32 which would wipe out visa options for married children and siblings, long-standing pathways that have kept Filipino families together, forcing the annual green card cap down from 226,000 to just 80,000. That's only the tip of the iceberg. A companion House bill, H.R. 2705, is barreling through committee, while a new budget proposal would jack up fees and pull back benefits for legal immigrants, hitting Filipino nurses, caregivers, and other skilled workers where it hurts. And looming over it all is Project 2025, a hard-right blueprint that would ditch almost all family reunification visas, favor points-based admissions, and even expand deportations and travel bans. These aren't pie-in-the-sky ideas. They're live bills, committee drafts, and White House playbooks in motion, backed by a Republican-led Congress and the prospect of a Trump return. Proponents promise a smarter, skills-focused system. But for millions of Filipinos hoping to work, retire, or simply hug their loved ones again, it feels like a brick wall. So, let's break it down. In this video, we'll walk you through the Nuclear Family Priority Act, what it means, who it cuts off, and why chain migration might cost your family dearly. The new budget bill, how higher fees and tighter rules could wrench benefits away from the very nurses and professionals your community depends on. Project 2025, Trump's immigration playbook, from axing almost all family visas to expanding deportations, and why the Philippines could end up on the chopping block next. Ready to dive in? Stick around, because we'll not only unpack the data behind these proposals, we'll share the real stories of families already living this uncertainty. By the end, you'll see exactly what's at stake and what you can do to push back. Let's get started. 1. Legislative crackdown. The first big blow comes with the Nuclear Family Priority Act, S-13028, introduced April 9, 2025. On paper, it's sold as a way to end chain migration. In reality, it eradicates visas for married kids and siblings of U.S. citizens, mangling the very roots Filipino families have used for generations. The current annual cap of 226,000 family-sponsored green cards would plummet to just 80,000. Across the Capitol, H.R. 2705 mirrors the same cuts in the House. But that's only Chapter 1. By May 2025, a GOP-backed budget blueprint proposes steep fee hikes and slashed social service access for legal immigrants, targeting OFWs, nurses, and others who keep our hospitals and care facilities running. And then there's Project 2025, the formal Trump immigration playbook. It calls for eliminating almost all family reunification visas except for parents and minor children, shifting to a points-based system that prizes high-skill entrants, expanding travel bans and mass deportations. Right now, the Philippines isn't on Trump's banned country list, yet experts warn that could change if geopolitical winds shift. Next up, we'll dive into the data, how many families stand to lose their legal pathways, and what the numbers really tell us about the human cost behind these bills. Stay tuned. Imagine waking up one morning to find your hard-earned green card suddenly under threat. That's the reality flickering on the horizon for many Filipino Americans today. In June 2025, a presidential proclamation quietly amped up travel bans on dozens of countries. The Philippines wasn't named, yet everyone from Manila to Sacramento got the memo. Broader enforcement is coming. Last March, Philippine Ambassador Jose Manuel Romualdez dropped a bombshell on GMA News after a 64-year-old Filipina, here for 50 years, was swept up in a DHS raid. His message? U.S. permanent residency isn't guaranteed. It's a privilege that can be yanked away. Chilling, right? And while USCIS quietly rolled out a late 2024 rule opening up H-2B seasonal work visas, no country cap, plus extra grace periods, immigration advocates call it window dressing. Why? A 2023 USCIS report shows the foreign-born population hit 47.8 million, yet backlogs balloon and processing times crawl. Behind closed doors, DHS insiders admit they're fielding more visa questions from the Philippines than ever before, but they make one thing clear: compliance, not compassion, drives approvals now. So, trends in Filipino migration. Let's crunch some numbers, and trust me, they'll surprise you. A May 25 Pew Research Center report reveals nearly 2 million U.S. residents were born in the Philippines, up from 1.3 million just 20 years ago. That's an 89% surge, making us the third largest Asian American group after Indian and Chinese communities. And here's the kicker: almost half of us arrived via family sponsorship or work visas. Family reunification has always been our anchor. A law passed in 1965 opened doors that generations of Pinoys sailed through. More recently, work-based routes in healthcare and tech have boomed. Did you know Filipinos account for 4% of all U.S. nurses? That's over 200,000 caregivers keeping America's hospitals running. H-1B and H-2B programs have been lifelines, until now. With Project 2025 whispering about slashing family categories and capping employment visas, even tiny policy tweaks could lock out thousands of qualified Filipino professionals. Suddenly, the bright future you and your family planned feels shaky. And here's the real pulse check. In 2024, OFW sent home $38.34 billion, a record 3% jump from 2023. Those remittances feed 8.3% of the Philippine GDP, paying for everything from school fees in Metro Manila to rice in rural barangays. Strip away those pathways, and you starve whole communities of opportunity. Human stories, lives on the line. Behind every visa and bill is a heartbeat, and right now, countless Filipino families are holding theirs. Take Bianca and Francis, two aspiring nurses in California. They aced their licensing exams, secured sponsorships, and mapped out their future in scrubs. Then the headlines shifted, hinting at tougher visa checks. "We know America needs nurses," Francis told GMA News, "but it feels like the door is closing just when we're about to step through." Or Michelle, a mother of 3 in Tacoma who held a rock-solid green card, until an ICE sweep snatched her away for 4 months over a paperwork quirk. Her freedom came back only after a fierce local campaign. And Llewellyn Dixon, a 64-year-old Filipina who'd spent 50 years in Seattle. A routine vacation home to Manila turned into a nightmare of detention at her very doorstep, until news of her arrest sparked outrage. June 2025 saw ICE raids in Los Angeles that swept up over 100 residents, including a Filipino homeowner who'd sponsored relatives for legal visas. Surveillance footage captured agents marching through tight-knit blocks as the Philippine consulate scrambled to help. Meanwhile, worried students in Cebu are hitting pause on U.S. college plans, and retirees in Texas keep a suitcase by the door, just in case. These stories aren't isolated. They're the shockwaves of policy shifts that turn paperwork into peril. What can you do?
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump!
If these stories move you, don't scroll past. Share this video with friends who might not know what's at stake. Drop your own experiences or questions in the comments. Your voice could guide someone to the help they need. And hit subscribe on Discovering the Earth for a deeper dive, human-centered tales of migration, policy, and the human spirit. Because right now, it's not just about visas or statistics. It's about whether families stay together or get torn apart, and how loudly we'll all raise our voices to keep that bridge standing.